Today, I'll assist you in determining whether or not you have sufficient funds to retire, as well as how much more money you'll need to retire in luxury. If you believe that you are too young to start thinking about retirement, you are mistaken. According to the World Health Organization, the average life expectancy is 72 years. But if you reside in a highly developed nation, you will most likely live longer than 80 years. Therefore, if you begin working at the age of 24 and continue working until you reach the age of 55, you will only have 32 years to accumulate enough money to support you for at least 17 to 30 years after you retire. Hello everyone, welcome to Success Wisdom. In this video, we're going to talk about, do I have enough money to retire now? Now? Really? If you're new to this channel, do like and subscribe to the channel. If you believe that the allotted amount of time is insufficient, you are probably correct. Because of this, many individuals in various nations with high incomes are obliged to delay their retirement, and some continue to work until they reach the age of 69. If the thought of it makes your stomach turn, you should start making preparations for retirement as soon as possible. Believe me, you're going to be pleased you did this at some point in the future. When you initially begin putting money away for your elderly years, the first thing you should do is calculate how much money you'll need for a retirement lifestyle that is satisfactory. The score will tell you how much money you need to put aside in savings, as well as the kind of investments that are likely to be most profitable for you. If you do a quick search in Google, you will find that there are a number of distinct approaches that may be used to get the desired result for this calculation. Nevertheless, the well-known study conducted at Trinity serves as the basis for the technique that I've found to be the most complete. According to the findings of research that was published more than 20 years ago, the maximum amount of cash you may withdraw from your investment portfolio in the very first year is only 4% of the total value of your holdings. Because of inflation, the total amount that you are permitted to withdraw will continue to increase every year after that point. For example, if you have $1,500,000 saved up by the time you retire, you should be able to spend $50,000 in the first year of your retirement, and then a little bit more each year after that for the next 30 years, and still have some more money left over in your investment portfolio at the end of your retirement. In order to do the calculations of this kind, it is necessary to have an idea of how much money you want to spend after you have retired. If you wish to spend $5,000 during retirement, for example, you would multiply that amount by 12 and then split it by 4% of your total savings. In this instance, $1,650,000 will provide you with $5,500 every month to spend for at least 30 years, allowing you to live comfortably. But if you stop there, it would be difficult for you to live off of your savings when you retire due to the effects of inflation. Simply said, inflation is the pace at which prices continue to rise over a period of time. The preceding example may have led you to believe that a monthly expenditure of $5,500 is a reasonable amount. However, in 20 or 30 years, when the cost of everything you like will be much higher, $5,000 won't go nearly as far as it does right now. In point of fact, $5,500 in the year 2040 would be equivalent to around $3,500 in today's money. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The question, do I have money to retire, is one that a lot of people ask themselves. We discussed a number of different methods for determining the amount of money that will be required for retirement. After examining the formulas that they used, we made some modifications to our own. We came up with our very own formula for determining how much money you will have put away by the time you reach the age at which you are eligible to retire. The goal is to make this as easy to understand and implement as possible, so that the great majority of people, regardless of where they reside, how much money they make, or anything else, will be able to do so successfully. both the total amount of money you will need to have saved up by the time you retire and the amount of money you will need to put aside on a monthly basis in order to attain that goal will be detailed for you in the following paragraphs. When this video is through, the calculations that you asked me to do will be complete and ready for you. So let's get this discussion going. You can determine whether or not you have sufficient funds for retirement by using this strategy. These figures are subject to variation depending on your current financial circumstances, the state of the economy in your region, and the activities that you want to engage in during your retirement. Let's say you want to work for another 30 years but don't have enough money saved. Here you can find out how much you need to save to have the kind of income you want when you retire. For instance, if you want to spend about $4,000 in today's dollars during your retirement, you'll need about $2.9 million. That means you should start putting away $1,500 every month right now. If you stick to that savings plan and add 5% to your savings every year, and your portfolio gives you a return of 6% every year, you'll be able to retire comfortably without ever having to work again. Notice that every extra $750 to save each month will give you an extra $2,000 in retirement income. However, if you only work for 20 more years, you'll have less time to save and grow your investments. So you have to work twice as hard to make your money last the same amount of time. In this situation, saving an extra $1,550 a month gives you only about $2,000 a month in retirement income. You are now fully equipped with the foundational knowledge required to prepare for a comfortable retirement. Despite the fact that there are definitely many aspects that are far too sophisticated to be taken into consideration in these stages, I still believe that they are a decent strategy to help you prepare for your retirement. You can see from the calculations that there are 4 ways to make the most of your retirement: reducing the amount of money you spend during retirement, working longer to build up for it, saving more money, and making the most of your investments. I am aware that these are fairly apparent means by which you might plan for your retirement. But my intention is that by providing you with a figure, you will be able to establish clear, short, medium, and long-term financial objectives to ensure that you are prepared for retirement. We've reached the end of another video, and thank you for watching. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you like this video, do give us a like, subscribe to this channel, and comment down below. Thank you and goodbye.